Well, all right. What a gorgeous day. I apologize for keeping you indoors and we talked about it. And poison water is just delivered half of it, so I'll be able to save you 5 minutes right there, right?
It's on, just right.
Check, check.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Thank you all. There's always somebody, right? Everybody, thank you so much for coming. Thank you, Poison Waters. Thank you to the neighborhood associations for this wonderful group of individuals that are caring and care for our community. And we're all here because of what we're seeing in our community. Everybody, my name is Keith Wilson, and I'm running for mayor to deliver real change for Portland. That change begins with ending unsheltered homelessness within the first 12 months of my administration. We accomplished that by opening up a network of nighttime emergency shelters that are walk-in, that are designed to care for our community, that are there to augment, to complement our already existing sheltering system. And what I've been hearing now is, when I've been saying that, is I've been hearing a refrain around town and from others, it can't be done. And when we think about a mayor, and we start hearing people say certain things can't be done, and we're limiting our expectations when we have a humanitarian crisis playing out on our street, I say we have to and we must. And I go back to my career and I start thinking about it can't be done. I've been told that my whole life. I've been raised on a steady diet of no my whole life. At my business, we've accomplished some extraordinary things that it can't be done. I own and operate Titan Freight Systems. It's a transportation business. We run 24 hours, extremely complex. It's inherently dangerous. At Titan today, we have the lowest workforce injury rate in the state. It can be done. As far as crashes, I use artificial intelligence, the first in the Northwest, because we saw our accident rate skyrocketing. We had to take control because distracted driving was affecting our ability to operate our company safely. Today, we have one of the lowest crash ratings in the country. Poison Water had noted, I'm focused on emissions reduction from climate leadership. I run a heavy-duty transportation company that relies on fossil diesel, but not in Portland. We don't use 1 single gallon of fossil diesel in my Portland operation. People say you can't decarbonize transportation. I say it can be done, and it's being done. And then I work for Freightliner, one of our largest employers here in Portland. They don't just employ white-collar jobs anymore, or blue-collar. They employ green-collar jobs. Titan is the first Northwest carrier with a fleet of electric trucks. Just think about it. People say that it can't be done. Was it hard? All of those things. Extremely hard. But isn't that what you want a leader to do? To not take the easy way out? To not sit back and not recognize the humanitarian crisis without acting? We need real change. And we need a leader who can get results. And that's why I wanted to highlight those to you. So while you hear about my platform and what I'm going to talk to you about, we have to do these things because our community is suffering. I grew up in North Portland. Family was 4. There's 7 of us that lived in a 900 square foot home, 2 bedrooms. I don't remember the poor. I just remember my parents always caring for others and creating an opportunity for us, even when they didn't have it. Dad grew up as an orphan. He didn't graduate from Roosevelt. My oldest brother didn't graduate from Roosevelt. I did. I broke that trend. Just graduating high school was an accomplishment in our family. I then worked my way through college. I got a master's degree, traveled around the world. I had the opportunity to come back, and then I joined my father's business. He was delivering luggage from the airport. He was the fellow when your luggage or your parents got lost. And I started with that, but I've always had a vision and a drive to do something extraordinary, and I've created that. And then, about 6 years ago, after accepting National Innovator of the Year for the last 2 years, I look up and I see our city in crisis, abject poverty, and people living on the corner, Lower Rose Park impacted with 70 encampments, and I think to myself, what have we become when we allow our neighbors to live and literally die on the street without acting in Portland, the best city in the world, and that's why I came back here after seeing these great metropolises, nothing compares to Portland. We have to work and fight for our community, and that's what we're here to do. And that's why you're here. That's why you're overwhelming the facility, because it's time for us to take back our city. We normalize camping, open drug use, property crimes. And I'm telling you, with working with city leaders and federal officials, that's not normal anywhere in the United States, and it's not going to be normal in Portland as your mayor. I have 3 short-term goals that we're going to accomplish next year. First and foremost, we're going to end unsheltered homes. That is our most immediate focus, and that's what we'll do straight out of the gate. There'll be no celebration on November 6th. It's time to put our crisis team together and get ready for January 1st. I founded a nonprofit called Shelter Portland for that one very reason. I am fortunate. I get to travel around the United States for my job. But in that travel, I've been meeting with mayors and county commissioners and federal officials. Every time I went somewhere, I befriended them and I wanted to know and best practice with them. I always say I want to chase the boss, the best of the best. I don't want to go to WOW, it's the worst of the worst. I don't spend time in LA. I spend time in Boise, Bergen County, and New Orleans, and I work with those mayors and I just simply copy what they do, and that's what we're going to do here. Those individuals, the mayor of Boise, President Obama's Assistant Secretary to reduce homelessness is on my team. They've agreed to come here to help us in Portland and to tell their homelessness because they've done it. Not because it can't be done, because they've already done it. That's what we need as a leader. I don't need to be a rocket scientist. I need to be really knowledgeable about best practices that work and that work in our community and can work in our community. So in so doing, best of the best. You got to put your feet on the ground. To innovate, you have to understand. To understand, you must go and see. So I befriended a fellow down in Brisbane, Australia, who was opening up parking garages, sheltering people in parking garages. Because he said, if we can shelter cars with more dignity than we can shelter people, then what kind of a community are we? Who are we? So I opened up a parking garage at the Gateway TriMet parking garage. Because when I called the general manager of TriMet and said, hey, I want to borrow one of your parking garages, are you okay with that? Do you know what he said? What garage do you want and when? Because their ridership numbers and their safety is plummeting. They understand we must care for our community. I opened it up. It worked. I tried it again in the dead of winter. It failed. I was still late volunteers and I had 30 shelter homeless people in. But that's how you do. You've got to try, fail fast, improve, and then try again. Right? And then I started working with churches and community centers, and we moved the pews back like this. We set up a shelter and it worked. And now we opened a shelter. And we're sheltering individuals for $16 a night. When you think about a safe village or a temporary alternative shelter between $100 and $200 per person per night, we can shelter people at a fraction of the cost. So I tell you, we can set these up quickly, flexibly, flex up and flex down to where nobody has to live and die on the street in Portland tonight. But that's only the first thing, right? Caring for somebody at night is only the first thing. The second thing is daytime shelter. So I opened up a daytime shelter because we have to provide a warm handoff for that soul so we can focus on recovery and focus on the home. We have a mental health and addiction crisis that is at a level that we see as we drive to work. We take our kids to school. We drive down 11th Avenue in downtown, and we literally see 40 people using fentanyl at that moment. We must provide that care for them to link them to services. These are individuals that are in our community members. They went to high school with us, but we must care for them. And it's working today. I opened a shelter on 82nd Avenue in Ash, and it's open right now. We can do this. So if people tell you it can't be done, just look to me and look at the stories and go to my website, shelterportland.org, and you'll see the stories of all of these individuals. Now that's the first thing we do in 12 months. The second thing is we restore public safety because now we're able to enforce our camping laws. We're able to enforce our codes, our licensing, our vehicle laws now because people don't have to live in cars. We can care for their basic needs. And when we do that, we get to start relying on our police again because here's the situation. We arrest about 2,000 people per year. And last year, over half of the arrests were in shelters. We're trying to arrest our way out of it, and we've proven we can't. So don't let law and order come in and say that we're just gonna arrest more people, because we arrest people and then we release them again. Here's what fixes the problem: shelter. If you provide shelter to somebody, they only represent 2% of the arrests per year. We can flip the script on our public safety system and improve it almost overnight by providing basic 9-9 shelter. And why? Because 10 years ago, when you were in your worst time of need and you called the police, they were there in 6 minutes. Today it's 24 minutes. In your worst time of need, when your neighbor or your wife or your son needs help, they may not be there for you. And the third and the final is we restore and we revitalize our community and its livability, and our businesses that are impacted, or individuals and shopkeepers have people living and treating that doorway as a bedroom or a toilet, not even care for that person. I'm going to leave you with so many more questions than answers, because it's a big question. We have big answers. Anytime you'd like to talk, I invite you to call me or my team. Keith Wilson for mayor.com will focus on that vision. I just want you to know that there is a tomorrow that's brighter than today. I have a vision for our community, and I've got the hard work and the research to do it. I have a blueprint to implement on the day that I become mayor. I have a leadership council that is invited to come and help. I have a record of success, and I'm asking you for your support. Thank you.